Good afternoon, my friends. My name is Father John, pastor here of St. Anthony Catholic Community in Tigard, Oregon. And in my hands, I have the plan for reopening our parish, Phase 1. And this is a very important document that I would like all of you to reflect upon and prepare yourself for this reopening, which here at St. Anthony's will begin on May 14th, 2020. And I'd like to go through this plan specifically with you today. First of all, these directives and guidelines are not intended to be permanent adjustments to normal practice, but temporary responses to the pandemic. So let's be clear about that right from the onset. Reopening will not mean an immediate return to our practices prior to the suspension of public Mass. Your patience, charity, understanding, and cooperation are appreciated as we begin to reopen the Masses. Our parish directives that I'm going to present to you, they adhere to the plan of our Archdiocese as well as the state of Oregon. First and foremost, I'd like to go through some general principles as part of this reopening. A general dispensation from the Sunday Mass obligation will remain in place. And because of this dispensation and the desire to come to Mass, please know that each day will have the same number of Masses. Mass attendance for every Mass will be limited to 25 in accord with government directives. And that 25 also includes the priest, the cantor, anyone else that may be involved in the liturgical celebration at a given time. Physical distancing must be practiced at all times within our church, a minimum of 6 feet apart, except members of the same household. There will be specific areas in the church where you will be assigned to sit. So when you come in, generally, how it's always been is you can find your own place, sit wherever you want, with no questions asked. However, during this time, when you come in, you will be seated by a particular hospitality minister, and we're going to ask you to please sit in that place that is designated for you. Anyone attending Mass does so at his or her own risk. Vulnerable, at-risk, and otherwise concerned persons should remain home during this time. Anyone who has even the slightest symptoms or feelings of sickness must remain home. Live streaming of Masses will continue to be a part of our Masses so that those who do not attend can still watch from home. Restrictions and guidelines here pertain to all Masses, including weddings, funerals, baptisms, and so on. So here at St. Anthony's, beginning on March 14th, we will offer 2 Masses per day in English at 8:15 and at 5 o'clock in the evening. We will offer a Spanish Mass per day at 6:30 p.m. We will offer a Vietnamese Mass on Sunday at 1 o'clock and Friday at 7:30 p.m. The door will be open 15 minutes prior to the Mass and remain open until the start of the Mass. So if you are coming to the 8:15 Mass, it would be wise to be here 15 minutes prior to the beginning of that celebration. These Masses will be held Sunday through Saturday. There will be multiple methods, including online sign-ups, emails, phone calls, written sign-ups for you to participate in a celebration. Individuals and families will be allowed to attend Mass only once, at this point, every 3 weeks, depending on the amount of people that would like to come to the Eucharist. This is to allow as many people in the parish as possible the opportunity to attend Mass. And so depending on the outcome of that situation, that reality may change, and I will keep you informed. You are asked to sign up for Mass at only one parish. So one of the questions you will be asked when you call in to come to Mass will be, did you go to any other church to go to Mass? And that is very important so that everyone can get an opportunity to come to Mass. So if we ask you that question, it's really important that you say, no, this is the Mass I'm coming to here at St. Anthony. We will not verify whether an individual who signs up for their Mass rotation is registered or otherwise from the parish. Every sense of fairness will be maintained. Aside from those with special needs, any preferential treatment will be avoided. The maximum number allowed includes the priest, liturgical ministers, live stream videographers, and anyone else present during Mass. Except for members of the same household, the faithful must always remain at least 6 feet apart during the Mass. Each person, as I mentioned earlier, will be assigned a seat in church. A record of the list of those who signed up and attended each Mass will be maintained here at St. Anthony. In the event of a COVID-positive case, the parish must assist public officials with tracing and contacting everyone who may have been exposed. So that is why you must be on the list to participate at a particular Mass, so that we can keep track of everyone who has been there in the course of the day. A use of face mask coverings is recommended by the CDC. Use of face mask coverings at Masses is left to the individual discretion, but strongly encouraged. Only those with masks can join in congregational singing. Parking lots or open-air Masses to expand the celebration numbers for Masses are not envisioned at this time. And these Masses that we have every day will be very short in duration. Each Mass will be about a half hour long. The bathroom near Francis Hall will be the only bathroom that will be open. And if a child needs to use the restroom, a parent must accompany that child. Only one person at a time will be allowed to use the bathroom. And so those are kind of general observations that are very important. And again, all of this will be spelled out in this particular email that you will receive. Now let's get to some specific Mass guidelines when you come for Mass. There will be no sign of peace. There will be no distribution of the precious blood. There will be no holy water when you come in any of the fonts. There will be no congregational singing unless those in the congregation are wearing a face mask. Cantors will not wear face masks because they will be up here. They will be at least 30 feet from all of us in the pews. No collection will be taken up during the Mass, but when you enter the church, there will be a collection basket there, and you would be asked to just drop in your donation into that basket when you enter the church. There will be no presentation of the gifts by the faithful. When you come into the church, you will not find missalettes, pew cards, pencils, and other loose items in the pews. And we would ask you as well not to bring any of those items here to church. Individual bulletins cannot be distributed. Bulletins can be found online, or we can mail them to you if you would like a copy of the bulletin. Communion, physical distance must be maintained during the communion procession. Single file communion lines only. The priest will be the only one to give out Holy Communion during this pandemic. Skin-to-skin contact should be carefully avoided. And if contact is made, the priest will stop to sanitize his hands before continuing distribution. And if you wish to receive communion on the tongue, you are kindly asked to wait until the end of the line to present yourself for Holy Communion. The celebrant will sanitize his hands immediately after receiving communion himself and prior to distributing communion to the faithful who are present. Members of the same household do not have to observe physical distancing with one another during the communion procession. Holy Communion is to be distributed by hand in the normal fashion. The priest will not be wearing gloves or using any kind of device or instrument to distribute Holy Communion. And then we'll talk a little bit about the entrances and exits during the celebration. When you are looking at the front of the church, you will notice all of those doors will be locked. The only door that will be open is this side door right here, which is off the parking lot in front of our parish offices. That door will be open 15 minutes prior to the Mass. So the door will be open. You will not have to touch the door to come into the church. And like I say, when you come into the church, Gerlinda will be there at the entrance. She will be looking if your name is on the roster to come to Mass at that particular time. And she will also be taking your temperature with a thermometer. We will be able to note at that time if anyone has a fever or a concern before entering the church. That is very important. So you will only come in through this one entrance. You must be on that list. When the door closes at 8:15 or at 5 o'clock in the evening or at 6:30 for the Spanish or the Vietnamese Masses, when the door is closed, no one else will be allowed to enter into the church. And that's very important. So we're asking everyone who's on the list for a particular Mass to please be here on time. When you come in, we will also have a sanitizing solution for you to wipe your hands upon entrance. And this way we can keep everyone healthy and that we are concerned about each person here in our celebration. Also, all of the pews are sanitized after each Mass. Every time you come into the church, you can know that each pew has been sanitized and cleaned in preparation for the following service. Upon departure, there will be more doors open. Those in the back of the church there will be open, and we're asking people to use different exits to go out of the church, and you are asked to go immediately to your cars, that there would be no gathering. However, the priest, when departing, will depart from the door there up in the sanctuary, and he will go out into the parking lot. Hopefully, we'll be able to wave to everybody and to thank you for participating in the celebration. When you leave, the doors, again, will be open. We're asking you not to touch any of the doors, and that is for your own safety and health. Cleaning and sanitizing of the pews and other common areas, including the restrooms, will take place immediately after Mass. And after they have been purified, all of the communion vessels will be washed with soap and water following every Mass. So there you have it, my friends. It's a pretty extensive kind of participation, isn't it? Now, you will find that some churches will have different guidelines. Each pastor determines for his community how things should be done. So I would ask you not to compare one church with another because of size, because of a situation with a particular pastor, whatever the reasoning might be, that is their community. Our community follows this particular protocol, and we want to be very safe and concerned about the well-being of every person. And so I'm asking you to reflect on this. And also, beginning today, you are free now to call into the office or email us in whatever fashion that you would like, to call in to sign up for one of the masses in the course of the week. Remember that the obligation for Sunday is lifted. Therefore, each day is important. And every day, it's a joy to have that opportunity to come and to receive the Holy Eucharist. It's my prayer that we can do this beginning to come together, beginning to unite with each other. That's going to help us to grow in faith and to be concerned for the well-being of every human person that comes. If you have any questions, any concerns, don't hesitate to let me know. I want you to know, my friends, that I'm praying for you. I'm excited about this possibility of beginning, but I'm asking you to be safe. If you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to stay home. All of our masses will be on video, and you'll be able to watch them at home as well. And those of you who can begin to venture out, please know that we are here for you and that we are excited that we can begin to return now to our beautiful church here at St. Anthony. The Lord be with you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Thank you, my friends. Talk to you soon.